Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Ka Shillong Commerce College mda sngi ka khat khanai tarik nai lar ajar pusam klayo ban Sdang ni ka Master of Commerce ha ka college dak ba pinlong ik program ban pdiang ni ki samla puli baningkong ni ka first batch makin yo ban puli ha ka college ha ka Master of Commerce ka principal jong ka Shillong Commerce College ka kong JC Bla ka laong ba ka SSC ka long ka jaga puli ka badan ni ka thong bat ka pin pau ka jing ngok men makum ka college ka yo ban play ka ni ka sin jam ka bakraw ha ka ni ka sngi play u pro vice chancellor ka nihu u professor S Umdor u long kum kong san haba jing kren u lekentu ka college bakam dei ban thmu tang ka Mynta hendai nak benda ka Lawei wala dadan tang khandiat ki khna ki buan puli hendai u lekentu bagi dei ban yaisha bat ha ka wi ka por kin sa yo buan ki khna ki ban sawan ban puli ulakran shphang kumnu kino hikai ki deban hikai ki khna haglyang ki jingmot jing Pyrkhat bakin dong ki bayar ha jingmot jing Pyrkhat bat kumjuru bakin la ban yeng hala ki jong ki kjang kumjuru ula ong bakin hikai ki deban hikai ha ta rukom bagi khna kin yo ek jing tep ni ki jing pinwan dore ki aka kat kum kan ki juk Mynta.
That we are gathered here today. A bright future is nothing more than a combination of determination, optimism, and self-assurance. A very good morning to all of you who are gathered here this morning. It is with an immense pleasure and a warm heart that I stand here on behalf of the family of Shillong Commerce College. My address would be incomplete if I do not welcome and thank Professor Umdor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong campus. Sir, it is not only that we are gladly accepted to be the chief guest, in spite of your very tight schedule, but this first induction program would not have happened and the provisional affiliation for postgraduate department in MCOM program would not have come true if not due to your concern and insight. Thank you so much, sir, and let's give a big round of applause. And we will continue to keep on praying for him for his vision and mission. For our college will forever be etched in our hearts. It gave us inspiration, and we are proud to affirm that Shillong Commerce College is no doubt a place where dreams take flight and futures are shaped. To all our first batch of MCOM students, this event is more than just a tradition. It is a way for us to say, welcome to your new home. We are thrilled to have you join our family. Starting at a new institution can be both exciting and a bit daunting. But rest assured, you are now part of a supportive and caring environment. Education is not only about acquiring knowledge and skills. It prepares us for life. Thus, my dear students, approach your studies with a growth mindset. Believe that your abilities can be developed through hard work and perseverance. We take pride in our diverse and inclusive community. A team of dedicated faculties and staffs are always there and not only leaving you, you are not alone, but they are there with you and for you always. Embrace this new chapter with an open mind and a positive attitude. Our college values of respect, responsibility, and excellence serve as a guide in building character and to interact with others. Communication and collaboration are keys to success. Education is a journey, not a destination. You can achieve anything you can set your mind to. So always be positive and have a goal, an objective that you should achieve. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. This is a passage which I have taken from the book of Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6. And in conclusion, I say that this is a prayer that I offer for each and every one of us.
That we could come and participate for this program. It is a turning point for Shillong Commerce College. Here I'm studying, I'm thinking, how to speak, how to program, what are the things I want to communicate to you. But when I see my close friends, like my younger brother, Sumati Umdor, for coming to this institute, I was fully confident that he would take his time. I will not say much, that is in my mind, okay? But anyway, I'll share something. So thank you for sparing your time, especially the principal who put mind and the team, and the vice principal, teachers, students, and some one governor has come all the way, so he must be coming from Lawei. Am I correct? Yeah. Welcome. I just quickly, I haven't met you, but I just apprehended that you could not come so early, so you come in time. So today, what strikes me is this. I have been thinking all the time about Shillong Commerce. It's a college which concentrates only commerce. But after the NAC team has come and made a strong remark, why you are running only commerce? What about the other areas of learning? And I think that is the reason why now we are increasing our number. And we have many areas where we have to develop. And then time and again I used to impress on you that this is not enough. NP20 is knocking to each and every one of us, and we have to do something that is the future. But in spite of all this, what I want to communicate to you is this today. First of all, I think I must really be grateful to His Almighty that we have brought Suma. Your parents have made you really correctly Suma, and you are taking care of us. Today, you will have to look after us. Whatever you have in your mind to suggest, you can go ahead. But I would like to share the history. You recall the history, I think most of us have done this smaller study when we are graduates or in the graduate time, but especially when we return to the postgraduate. You know how the British captured our country? Right? Have you heard about East India Company? What activity they have done, you know? You know that? Trade and commerce. For what? From where? from this cross country, and we have collected quite a lot. And for generations and generations, they are running of the country and the welfare of the people. This indicates, you see, trade and commerce now is playing a very important role even today. Forget those days when there was a barter system, how people exchange, how they buy things. But then now, we have reached even to a digital system and how the communication is being on. So in our day-to-day life, it is so important that without commerce, trade and commerce, I think we can survive. And the growth of any nation is entirely depending on this.
As Group Vice Chancellor of the University, for me it's a very happy occasion when I see our colleges growing and developing. You know, under NEP by 2025, all the HEI, higher education institutions, will have to be in their own autonomous, in the sense that there have to be PG, UG institutions and as well as research institutions. So this is a step towards achieving the NEP, vision that our leaders have for us under the new education policy. So it is, I would like to thank the principal, Madam J.C. Clark, for inviting me. Initially, I thought that I would not be free, but there was a change in schedule this day, so I followed up and said that, I will be coming because for me, as I said, I'm closely associated with the affiliation process of this college, so I wanted to be here. I also thank my colleague, Dr. Padia, I've known him for a very long time, a very hardworking teacher. We have a few like him, we can change education scenario in the state. So I ask all of you to kindly emulate him, look up to him, and I ask you, sir, to provide the leadership, because I know him, as we've been closely associated for some time now as a control of examination. I really appreciate really good teachers for our education sector to develop in our state. And so he's a role model not only for you, for me also. So I'm glad that he's here. Dr. Khangwir, who is also chairing the stage, he's Vice President at Kona, Vice Principal at Kona for some time. We did orientation course together, me, my wife, and Madam, I think somewhere in 2006. So it's nice to again be here. And of course, Dr. Henry Lamin, who was the Group Vice Chancellor of Northeastern University. He's like an elder brother to me, and also I've learned a lot about him in different capacity in the university. Shillong College has accomplished many milestones in its many years of existence, shaping the lives of the young citizens of Meghalaya and those from neighboring states. The college has evolved over the years, expanding its academic courses and programs. Before it was known only for commerce, now we have the arts as well, and the science also must be having, because that is the goal now, so that each of you will have multidisciplinary courses in your, so that commerce students, if he wants to take minor, physics, he might, one day, that is the dream, that he can also take physics as a minor. So essentially, and that is the system that is prevailing all over the world, that we give the choices to a student. If you want to take physics with music, that should be the goal, one fine day. Of course, it's a long-term goal, but gradually we're moving towards that. And today, if you have a commerce student, since we have BA, you can take economics as a minor. You can take English communication or something as a minor. That will help you. So this is what commerce college is doing, and I encourage you to keep on expanding, because there's so much that we need to do. So today the college has started post-graduation programs, which is really a positive endeavor, revealing the intellectual vitality of the institution. If as an institution you are stuck in the same program, same mode, it means something is wrong with you. So when you are developing, growth means there is vitality, there is energy in you, and that is why it is very important for us not to be comfortable in the status quo, but always to try to evolve to something. Keep on challenging ourselves in our personal life as well as the life of the institution. So this is indeed an occasion which all of you should be proud of. So I congratulate the principal, the governing body members, that is also here, and then the faculty, the non-teaching staff, the teachers, and all the well-wishers of this college, supporters of this college. Congratulations to you, and this is indeed a happy occasion for me to be here. Now, since independence, the higher education institutions like the IITs, the IIMs, the AIMs, the universities and colleges, they have played a very vital role in the transformation and the development of our country. We are what we are today is because of the HEIs, the IITs and the IIMs and the universities that have produced intellects, that have produced educators, that have produced doctors, that have produced engineers, that have produced, people who have made a change, who have contributed to the transformation of India. And our higher institutions have not only changed the country, they have changed the destiny of countries all over the world. If you look at America today, if you look at all the Western nations, you'll find the top companies out there are run by Indians, most of them, isn't it? And those Indians are a product of our HEIs. So our HEIs have played a very important role. We are what we are as a country today. When we got our independence, people thought that we will be a failed state. In the 70s, there was this prediction that India will soon, there will be, mass starvation and death, will not be able to produce enough food grains. All these worst scenario prediction was being made of India. But look at us today, isn't it? Not only we are self-sufficient in food grain, we can serve, we can help countries in Africa and other things. We are known as the pharmaceutical, company of the world. Without us, Africa would develop, the AIDS epidemic would have swept over Africa. But it is because of the cheap drugs that we produce in this country that has enabled the world to combat, pandemic like AIDS and even the COVID, pandemic that we face. This country like India has produced those vaccinations at a very cheap rate that has helped the world. And today we are the fourth largest economy of the world. All this, a lot of this credit goes to our HEIs. And in the future also the government is looking, the society is looking at HEIs to make that transformation, to take us to that developed state that we emphasize as a country to achieve by the time we've done 100 years, that is in 2047. Commerce College here and the other colleges in Meghalaya, we have a very important work. Even in our own state, we have this target set by our Chief Minister that we want to be a $10 billion economy by 2028. Now that won't happen unless we have the manpower, we create the entrepreneurs, we create the work creators, we have the skilled manpower in our state. And who will produce those? It is institutions like Shillong, Commerce College, other colleges of related to Nehru that has this very important role. Now if we look at the higher education sector in the state, our gross enrollment ratio is around 25-26% in the higher education sector. And the target of the government is that by 2035, in 10 years, our gross enrollment ratio in higher education should touch 50%, should double of what we have in 2050. So, it means that we have to more than double the capacity of our total enrollment in higher education. So, I've been telling the principals of colleges whenever they meet me, please plan for the future. Don't just look at the present enrollment. Some of the college principals met me and they are very, a bit discouraged by the lack of enrollment in their colleges. But I'm saying, why are you so worried? Just look at the class 10 result. In this year, class 10 result, 56,000 students have passed. Now, at present, our enrollment in the colleges is around 20,000, 21,000, 22,000 in our affiliated colleges. We have doubled the number of our students that have passed class 10. In another 1 year, once we finish class 11 and 12, they have been knocking at your door. Even if 40,000 students comes to our colleges, you will not have the capacity to enroll a student. So I said, don't worry about this current phase. Plan for the future. In fact, when I met the Commissioner Secretary of Education the other day, he was telling me the same thing. That Professor, we need to plan for the future. We don't want to be in that scenario, class 11, when there were not enough seats for a class 10 students. So please don't be discouraged with your enrollment ratio. You will get more than enough enrollment by, if you look at the present trend. Especially when you look at a target, when we are trying to have 50%, students, our youth between the age of 18 and 23. That is the enrollment ratio how we calculate. We want 50% of them to be in higher education. That is graduate and postgraduate. So there's so much work to do, and I encourage you as a college to keep on working towards towards that goal. Now, while the number of students admitted to the college has increased and will increase over the years, as I've said, the challenge that we have here today as administrators, as teachers, as leaders in higher education, is that the degree that our student learns, should enable the student to be gainfully employed, so that they can flourish, as productive members of the society. And that is the challenge that all of us have, because after all, now it is universally accepted that employability is the core of education. But before we talk about employability, which is very much important, let us look at, what our leaders have thought about education. And let me quote, Swami Vivekananda, great reformer, educator, What did he say about education? We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. Now that last part, let us come a bit afterwards. But let us look at the other things that we have to impart on our students. We want our students that the strength of mind is increased, their intellect is expanded. We don't just want our graduates to have the skills, which the market requires. Of course, that is very important. But we want to produce thinkers. In our society, especially when you look at the newspaper, when you see the debate in the assembly, you understand when you listen to the debate in society, when you look at the news, the way people talk, sometimes I feel that I have failed as a teacher. What type of students am I, graduate am I producing as a teacher? Because, apart from the syllabus that we cover, do we talk of other things with our students? Do we expand their thinking? Are we becoming narrow, racist in our outlook? Thinking that living in a small pond, like a frog in a small pond? That is what we as teachers have to impart on the student. Understand the state, the other state, what is their food habit, take them home. Welcome people, if you have a student from another state joining here, please take them to your house, let them know about the community. That is how we will grow as a country. So that is why, Swami Vivekananda said these beautiful words, that we have to form the character of our children. And that is the purpose of it. And I encourage my teachers, I encourage the college, that when you introduce program, please look at this also. How do we build the character of our young people? How do we build their intellect? How do we invite on them the education? When I hear for 2 or 3 years that they go out of these institutions as knowledgeable people, with an expanded horizon, where the thinking, is not narrow, but it's quite broad, where they are, where they contribute positively to the society. But then the other thing that Swami Vivekananda said is also very, very much important, especially in today's context, that we need to produce our students, who can stand on their own feet. And that is very, very important. And when we talk of standing on our own feet, what do we mean? If you look at several reports that I can quote for you, there's this India Scale report. What does it say? The India Scale report later says that around 45%, 46% of the graduates have the required skills to be employed. So less than half of the graduates that we produce are employable. That is the stark reality that is facing us. They have a degree, but they cannot be employed. In fact, if you look at the CMIE data, Center for Monitoring of the Indian Economy, 2022 data, it says what? That the unemployment rate is the highest among graduates and those with higher degree. Which means that the higher you go in your ladder of education, the higher degree you get, the more likely is the chance of being unemployed. And so this is the scenario that we have, that as an institution, as educators, we have to understand. And therefore, that today, in today's world, it is very important that whatever we teach them, the curriculum that we develop for them, it has to have what we call the 21st century skills. We need to imbibe in our students the 21st century skills. Skills that are needed in today's world. Skills that are needed in today's what we call knowledge economy. We have moved from the industrialized economy to a knowledge economy. In the industrialized economy, things were very repetitive. So you can teach students, you teach in the classroom to do something that is repetitive. But today in the knowledge economy, in the digital economy, things are moving so fast that there's an agreement, general agreement, that our curriculum, the way we teach our students should have certain four core, attributes. And what are they? That we have to teach them to be creative. We have to make them creative so that they can flourish in this world. That creativity will help you to become, entrepreneurs. Right? We need for them to be critical thinkers. How to solve problems, problem solvers. That is why we need to give them skills towards that. We need them to be effective communicators. They need to work as a team. You want to sell a product, you need to discuss with the people, with your customers. How do you do that? And we need them to be collaborators, because that is what this world is all about. So these are the skills and attributes that we need to have to impart on our students. And therefore, this is very critical for you, because don't be limited to only the curriculum that has been set with Nehru. That is set by Nehru, that is what you have to teach. But there's so much that you can do besides that. And I want to talk to the students. Today, there's a flat world. There's a book written by Thomas Friedman, The World is Flat. You should all read that. When I was growing up, we always had this excuse that I'm from the Northeast, I don't have access to materials and things that are there maybe from someone from Delhi, so that is why I am what I am, because of the limitation. But today that limitation is no longer there. Do you know that you can pass your MCOM from this institution in 2 years time, but at the same time, you can add a degree, what we call a nano degree, alright, from the best institute of the world. Say Berkeley, London School of Economics, any best institute of the world. Just go to Coursera. You must have heard of Coursera. Go to Coursera at 3,000 rupees of investment. In 6 months time, you can have a certificate from Coursera on business administration, or organizational behavior, or whatever you want to do. That is possible now. I myself have done courses on Coursera, so that's what I'm saying. I like, there are certain subjects that I'm very keen to follow. So even today, I joined courses on Coursera and I completed. And if you join a course on Coursera, what do you need? You need almost 3,000 to enroll, 3,000 rupees. You need an internet connection. And the most important thing is you need to give time. And by the end of 3 to 4 months, what will happen? If you pass the exams given by them, all this is online, you get a signed certificate from a professor from London School of Economics or any of the institutions that you enrolled in, saying that you have completed this course. Just imagine if you keep yourself a target that during my 2 years of MCOM, I'll complete 4 Coursera courses or 2 Coursera courses. And after that MCOM degree, you work with an MCOM degree from Nehru, but you have 2 other minor degrees, issued by this institution. You work for a job interview. Who do you think will get the job? Someone who has a Nehru degree only, or a degree from USTM, or even from any other institute? Or a person who works with a degree from Nehru and 2-3 micro degrees from the best institute. So this is, the world that we're living in, where the opportunities are available. It is only you that, you have to, and I encourage the college that please create those opportunities, the awareness and the opportunities for your students.